Happy to be back. For those of you on TikTok, I was put in TikTok jail, like always, where they like to keep me. So last time we were running this show, they had suspended my account, trying to keep me out. And I'm just glad to be back. So everybody on TikTok, go ahead and post your love questions. This is Get a Grip on Your Love Life and Relationships. And we are doing $5 questions through Cash App, Venmo, or you could join here on YouTube at Ask Ivy, better yet. And the $5 version of your answer is going to be the short version. The $10 version of your answer will be the longer version. Same thing for all you guys tuning in here through YouTube. Welcome. Facebook, Instagram, welcome. I'm going to give this a second for a few people to tune in before we go ahead and get started. I did want to announce that this Get a Grip on Your Love Life and Relationships show is replacing my mini classes that I've been doing since the pandemic hit. I don't even want to say the word anymore. I'm so sick of it. And while it was a beautiful time, I appreciate so much all of you who followed me and supported and sent in the topics that you wanted to hear me teach on. We built a beautiful community here. And it was an awesome couple of years for sure. Unexpected. All the free mini classes, if you want to watch them, you can download them wherever you can tune into a podcast at Ask Ivy. And here on YouTube at Ask Ivy, up in the mini class playlist. However, I do feel that it's time to move on. And so I've replaced the mini classes with this show, Get a Grip on Your Love Life and Relationships. So again, thank you so much for your support over the years. Also, if you guys are looking to continue your spiritual development, you can go to ivyleaguepsychicacademy.com. That's my actual school. So all of the classes are based. They're just little tastes of the actual bigger, larger curriculum for classes and courses. So check it out. All right. So it looks like we have a few questions coming in here. So welcome, everybody. I am Ivy Rivera. I'm a psychic medium, a Taino Arawak, and this is Get a Grip. Now, when we are talking about your questions here today, you do need to submit $5 for a short answer, $10 for a longer answer, and you could do that at Cash App, Venmo. It's in the description box above, below, or under my profile pic, or if you transition over here to YouTube at Ask Ivy, you could just do it right here on YouTube and post your question wherever you make your payment. Questions need to be 25 words or less, and they should include the first name of whoever it is that you're referring to. Okay, so your name would be great as well. If you're really worried someone you're asking about in your love life especially is tuning in, which is highly unlikely, people. So let's not get too paranoid about it. But if that makes you uncomfortable and you want to use a pseudonym, that's fine. I can work with that too. All right. But real names would be great. And if you guys want to book an actual love reading with me, a couples reading, that's a new service, including past life readings on your relationship that I'm going to be offering. So you can go to Ivy Rivera, psychicmedium.com. That should be up on the website tomorrow. And again, that link is above or below in the description, depending on where you're tuning in. I just want to say this before we go ahead and get started with our first question. Also, you guys don't have to ask about love. If you have a family member, a sibling, a coworker, a boss, a pet that you want to know about, if you want to better understand the relationship dynamics there, including past life, you can go ahead and post that as well. I still do want the first name of whoever you're referring to. Okay. So if you're in love with your cat, you wonder if there's something more going on there, that counts too. All right. All right. Let's start getting to some of these questions. I'm going to try to get to absolutely everybody. So this may very well go over the hour that I normally do. We're going to just wing it. Okay. All right. So what do we have, Mary, my beautiful producer? First question is from a Sam. She has a $10 question. Where are Cam, who is a Libra, and I heading? I feel great about us, but I'm not sure if he is feeling the same. He has mentioned he is not so eloquent with his words, but his heart is full of me. I want to say first that this does feel like a sincere bond between the two of you. I also think that he has a way of sort of weaseling out of clear communication. And we need to make sure that when we're dealing with other people, male, female, both, they, unicorns, I don't care what, okay? People need to clearly communicate. And if they feel, if they have been told as though their lack of communication is negatively affecting the other person, they need to work harder at it. And we need to be careful in all situations, but I would, especially Sam, be careful in this situation, that the lack of communication isn't coming from a place of manipulation and laziness. All right. So there's a big difference between someone who struggles to be clear in their speech versus someone who manipulates by being sort of deliberately confused. And I think that he does also have this tendency. So we have some great energy and we have some not so great energy going on here. I think that your desire to receive not only great feedback from him, but also time, attention, affection, energy to the degree that you want, I think that it's very reasonable in this situation. I think based on where you guys are, how far along you've come, it is like valid for you to want it. And I think it's important for you to not be double-minded in second guessing yourself or putting yourself down or minimizing your desires into thinking that maybe you're asking for too much. You're definitely not. And I think a good approach to this relationship going forward is to keep it playful, to keep it light, but to also treat it like a business contract. And that is, I need A, B, C, and D, and I'm going to need it by this time. And if this individual cannot deliver that to you, I think you could find, and you'll have your answer within the next 2 weeks, that you could very well be moving on. Now, with this, let's call it a pivotal point in the relationship, with this coming up within the next 2 weeks, what that means is that you guys are going to have an opportunity to either come closer together or to go farther apart. And that is a good place to be, because by the end of the 2 weeks, you will know exactly what it is that you're working with. At that point, you have all the pieces of the puzzle. So don't wear rose-colored glasses and don't try to force it to be anything more than what it is. There's some nice energy here, but some work also needs to be done in order for it to be up to the standards that you should have. All right, we're going to move on to another question here. Thank you so much for that, Sam. Our next one is, let's see. Yes. Oh, also, okay. Bear with me, guys. I'm learning how to do this. This is only the second show that I've run of this. So, Mary, I do need you to pop up the next question. Thank you so much. Also, I was supposed to say, Shauna Dempsey, you bought a $10 question. I don't have your answer. You did not submit it through Venmo. Edgar Velardis, you also did not submit your questions. So you guys are going to have to put these in the comments. I think that's it. All right, good. So let's move on to a Hunter S. Bought a $10 question, and it looks like this was from last week, this purchase, but we had to wrap up early. Cancer with a Cancer partner, P. Is my current relationship ending, or is there more work here to be done? You know, there is more work here to be done, but I really do feel like a break is needed. And so when we look at relationships as though they are black and white, here or gone, you know, we can stop seeing them for what they really are. They're fluid, they're progressive, they're always transforming. sort of like a tree, sort of like you. Okay, so as things grow, this is an organic, right? Connection here. We need to be reasonable that we can need both. We can have more work to be done with one another and simultaneously need to spend some time apart. I would even say in this case, without the spending time apart, the work may not be completed. And when I see something like this, it does signify that there could be some codependency going on, some enabling, some enmeshment, possibly even a bit of a trauma bond. There are some issues coming from both sides where he has your person. I don't know why I got that this was a male. I don't attach gender to my readings either, okay, because that could change at any time. I'm picking up more on this person's masculine energy, let's say. This individual has a tendency to control things and to need to control their environment due to some past trauma. So OCD-like tendencies, almost like PTSD-like reactions. I can't prescribe a diagnosis, of course. And when we see this, it can mean that you as the wounded healer, you as the giver and the light worker, you as the almost parental figure in your love life, you do run the risk of having somebody latch onto you and sort of hook into you and be unwilling to change or grow or release or be independent when they need to be. So this is an individual who most certainly has not yet mastered the art of detachment. If you are going to be with someone else in a healthy way, you have to contribute and be there and connect and reach those levels of intimacy while being totally detached from the outcome and knowing that at any point you may have to be independent and without them and be okay with that. This is a skill most people don't reach, maybe ever in life. Okay. But the real issue here is not even that it's happening as much as it is that you may enable it to happen. And so you need to also do a close examination, a little shadow work and some looking at why it is that you would feed that. When your energy tells you to pull back and to force this individual to be on their own a bit more, you need to do that, not just cave and keep feeding the system. Okay, so a little bit of both. All right, we are going to move on to another question here from a Shauna DC. Okay, a $10 question. I'm a Taurus and I have had visions and downloads about the end of my marriage soon and my next relationship with B, who is a Scorpio. Any advice from spirit? So the first thing I'm getting with this other person is that there's definitely a karmic contract here. Whenever we see a karmic contract, you're not going to avoid this. I mean, that's the bottom line. So we're talking about soulmate contracts, we're talking about karmic contracts, we're talking about work contracts. Now, when we are talking about a karmic contract, as you have with B, I think we said, who is the Scorpio, you're talking about some type of big lesson, some type of growth, some kind of experience that will help you to grow if you have a growth mindset and you use your free will wisely, of course. And it isn't going to come easily in this case. That could be a bit of a warning for you that this relationship could feel addictive. It could almost feel like a dependency on the other person. They can haunt you in your dreams. They can haunt you in your everyday life. Their name may come up no matter where you go. There may be signs and symbols of this individual all around you. That's due to cords. We have cords with different people for one of two reasons: karmic contract or soulmate contract. There's a class up on my website, and this is for everybody, okay, called Relationships, Boundaries, and Cord Cutting. Check it out if you need to cut a cord with somebody. But what's really happening with the situation is he's sort of pulling you through this cord energetically, tugging and pulling at you. So he'll pop into your head. This allows the other person to telepathically read your mind, be in tune to your emotions, know where you are developmentally, know if you're with somebody else and how to even disrupt that. So it's delicate, and it means that you are going to encounter this person in a serious enough way that you can work the karma out. I would say that because it is mostly lessons and growth for you, it will likely not work out into something long term. But you guys have free will and you could change the way that goes, meaning you could, he could. As far as your relationship ending, your marriage ending, I believe that's a choice that you'll be able to make. I think that if you didn't make it by now, you may very well stretch it out a lot longer. But I do think in some ways, 2 or 3 different areas of your life, you're kind of done with it and you do feel that you're ready to move on to something else. So you may want to keep that in mind. Okay. What we never want to do is to sort of base our decision as to whether or not we leave the current person we're with on who's waiting for us or the other relationship that we could jump over to. That's a big karmic no-no. Okay. All right. We have another one coming in here from Sarah P, who bought a $10 question. Will mine and Caleb's marriage last? I'm a Libra. He's a Virgo. Okay. You and Caleb, Caleb is the same all the time, You, on the other hand, you have a tendency to go into your past and into your future and back and forth and up and down and around and around. And there's just like all of this. I mean, at first glance, I would say, oh my God, this relationship is super balanced. Like I couldn't pick 2 people that are more polar opposite. And that often works. In this case, I wonder if it's going to cause for you to have a lot of doubt about the relationship, doubt about your satisfaction in life, doubt as to whether or not you have something bigger, something else, something more interesting, something you're supposed to move on to. And I don't know that that's ever really going to settle down in you. I think it's part of your personality. And, I think that, okay, you're a Libra. Well, I mean, that's air, so I'm a Gemini all over the place. We tend to be that way. But the thing is, you need to seriously examine some of the other issues that are also here. And that is the fact that he doesn't really change, that he isn't looking for the same level of growth and development that you are, that he isn't necessarily looking for all kinds of new experiences that resonate with you in any way. And so if we're talking about a real difference in personality, I can understand that. But there is a genuine love here. There is a certain level of commitment that will continuously, come from, I think, both of you. And so you could stretch this thing out quite far if you choose to use your free will for that. I do get a bit of a red flag from him in some areas where he isn't 100% truthful and honest in order to avoid conflict. And that could very well be the match that burns the whole thing down in the end. So he's got to step up in a couple areas. Okay. Especially if you're going to calm any of your active mindedness down. Okay. Let's move on to another one. We have from, Edgar Velardes. Thank you so much for turning in your question. This is a $10 question. What message does Spirit have for me regarding my current friendships? Okay. Again, you guys can ask about a pet. You can ask about a family member. You can ask about a coworker, a boss. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be love. This is just a relationship show in general. Most of it's going to lean toward love, and that's fine. What message does Spirit have for me regarding my current friendships? I put effort to reach out and try to hang out with my friends, but they don't. I'd like to hang out with them often. Thanks, Ivy. Thank you, Edgar. What you may want to look at astrologically, and you may want to reach out to Christina Del Rey, our astrologer here at the Ivy League Psychic Academy. And she's at the Ivy's Healing Call Center anytime. You may want to take a look at your 12th house. When we talk about 12th house issues, we talk about having some hidden issues with relationships. You could be forgotten about in your friendships. You could be the one, who reaches out and you're available and you're the listening ear, because 12th house is also being spiritually evolved. And so the wounded healer and all of that. And then when they go out and they do things, they don't even think to consider you, not necessarily because they are deliberately trying to hurt you or avoid you. They literally may not think of you. And so it's this sad place to be. And, speaking from someone who has most of their activity in the 12th house, and we did a free mini class on this a few weeks ago on 12th house and relationships. So look at Ask Ivy here on YouTube up in the mini class playlist on some of the unfortunate disappointments that occur when you have 12th house activity, in that people tend to forget you in general. And, you feel that you put in so much because you have. And people like us have to remember that loving unconditionally is going to be part of the deal for our journey. But you need to also keep your standards up and know when to set that boundary and say enough is enough. And so what I feel you need to do with some of these people is to directly speak out and communicate with them. I feel like you may have said this to one to two of them. There are 3 people in general who do this to you and do this without you. And, you may want to reach out and say, not in a joking manner, the way you have before, but in a serious way. It hurts me. It offends me. It cheapens our relationship and value when you don't invite me or respond back, or I don't hear from you. I think that once you have done this, it is for the purpose of getting it off your chest. So this really has very little to do with them. This is really about you evolving and mastering where you stand in your relationship dynamics from here forward for the rest of your life. This is part of your life contract. Okay. One of your big lessons. So from here on out, what you're going to want to do is be more cutthroat with people. I always say that relationships of any kind are like a ping pong game. So you hit that over and then they hit that ping pong back over to you and then you hit it back over to them. And in the event that they let it fall, you do not tell them to go pick it up. You do not go get another ball. You don't try to get the game going again. You walk away. And you're going to need to learn this once and for all in 2023. Okay. All right, we're going to move on to another one here from, again, if you guys have not already done so, you can purchase your question, $5 short answer, $10 longer version. And you could do that up in the description box above or below. You'll see a Venmo, Cash App, or you can go over here to my YouTube channel at Ask Ivy and put it right here in the comments. Also, I forgot to ask you guys, if everybody could stop right now, whatever platform you're on, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and drop a comment of any kind because it helps me out in the algorithm. If you want to hit that join button to become a member on YouTube at Ask Ivy, it'll show you the 3 different tiers of membership options. All right, very good. We're going to move on to a Lucy Marsh, bought a $10 question. This is not a romantic relationship, but I am wondering about my roommate, Howard. Is it necessary for me to leave this environment in order to grow? I am a Leo. He is a Sag. Okay. Howard. All right. So, and you guys don't feel that you need to include the zodiac signs because we don't have Christina, our astrologer, with us tonight. So I don't need zodiac signs. Just the first name would be great, or a pseudonym. All right, Howard. I don't really love this energy with him in the house. I think that there's some dark, heavy energy coming from this individual, some manipulative and controlling energy. This may be someone who maybe gets petty from time to time if they feel that you are not really engaging to the level that he would like to see. I think that he may have a tendency to pout, and it almost feels like throwing temper tantrums. If you were to put like rules on the house, if there were schedules or agendas, if there was probably even just things like, how we clean or tasks that we take on and things like that. I think that there's a lot going on here in regards to his inability to work with other people in general. So it isn't just you. And this definitely is not something I would take personally in any way. I think that one of the things that he may do as well is excessively drink or use. So there's some talk here of escapism, avoidance issues. And when we see somebody doing that, a problem that can come along with it very easily is paranormal issues. So when someone drinks a lot or they use, and yes, I am aware that everybody uses these days and that like everything is, legal. And so it's very, very easy to do. The thing is this, being altered in any significant way does at all times open us up to paranormal attachments, possession, mediumship. That's the deal. Okay. And I don't make the rules. And so if this person has a tendency to fluctuate and a real inability to self-maintain, to what's the word I'm looking for? To sort of stabilize the moods, the emotions, then he may very well turn toward these other options every single time he feels as though he's on a roller coaster. And that pettiness that I mentioned earlier, that manipulative tendency and that temper tantrum activity may really come out when we are looking at an attachment or a possession issue. So I don't feel that the environment is great. Even when it can stabilize, it seems to do all right for a little while, and then he dips, okay? I'd move. I think if you can get out within the next 4 to 6 months, that would be great. All right, let's move on to another one from a Pamela Wren, $10 question. She says, I'm a Cancer. How does 2023 look for me in, I'm assuming, love? I don't know. This is a relationship show, so I'm guessing you're just asking about love. That's what I'll answer. 2023 for Pam, what does it look like in love? I see in the fourth month of the year, so January, February, March, April. In April, I see you dealing with someone else who is very communicative. This individual is trying to pull you into dialogue pretty much all the time, pretty much every day. I like when a relationship gets to a point where you can mutually agree upon, right? Sort of keeping tabs on the other person. And so it's not just one person pelleting the other one with contact and the other one being like, I'm not really interested. It's very mutual in the way that maybe even though this person is reaching out to you, you respond, you give back. So I see you feeding it. And I think that the conversations that are coming up are intriguing. They seem intellectually stimulating, but they mostly seem to be about emotional growth and development, maybe some shadow work, some skeletons in the closet, stuff swept under the carpet, unfinished business, stuff that's been put up on a shelf collecting dust. These could very well be the topics that come up most for the two of you and that you're working with each other on. This does feel, however, like a karmic bond. And with a karmic bond, when you have two people who are willing to fulfill the karmic debt, because there is debt here in this case, and to learn the lessons and to grow, it can be very time stamped. It can have a deadline on it, but that does not make it any less valuable. Tremendously valuable, absolutely necessary to see all the way through. Let's see what's here. Don't try to make this out to be more than what it is. And I think that around the 6th and the 7th month, you may find someone coming in that is an actual soulmate. We talk about a soulmate connection. We're talking about having chords. You're going to feel comfortable with this person. You're going to have past life connection with this person. You're going to feel like you knew each other forever. The conversation is going to flow. You're going to know where they are mentally, emotionally, physically. There is no need for communication. Even though the communication looks good here, there's no need for it. You just automatically know. And you met them, and it's like you cut out 25 years of marriage because you've done it already. And so this has the potential to really, you could stick it out for the long haul. And I would say that at about a year's time of being with this person, you'll know whether or not you want to make this a long-term commitment, marriage, cohabitation, something along that line. All right, have fun. Let's see who's next. We have coming in here from a Brandy. I left my husband a year ago. Is this a $5 question, a $10 question? Mary, let me know, because I have to watch my time clock on these. So Brandy says, $10 question. Gotcha. Thank you. I left my husband a year ago. He's a Sagittarius. I'm a Pisces. Again, you guys don't have to let me know about the astrology because I'm not an astrologer. Christina will be back with us in a couple weeks. And I feel it was a karmic contract. Why do I struggle to finalize the divorce even though I have gone no contact, cut cords, and healed? Okay. So the question is, even after leaving your husband a year ago, knowing that it was karmic, why, even though you've cut cords and done all that, do you feel as though you are still bonded, to this individual? When we cut a cord, again, I'm going to recommend to everybody who needs to do this relationships, boundaries, and cord cutting class. Another class that goes hand in hand with that is karma contracts and past lives. All right. Get educated on the cord cutting itself. Don't just go through the exercises. You're basically not understanding the nature of a cord, and you're not understanding the power of a karmic contract. We want to think that once we cut off from someone, that we have made that determination and that we have signed off on that contract. We've signed onto a new contract. We are free and clear because our free will has said so, because we are capable of protecting ourselves in this life, and we are capable of pushing someone away, and they have to respect that. We want to believe that this is true, but in the law of the universe, energy is a very powerful thing. Cords are an incredibly powerful, renewable thing. And it's sort of like deciding that you're not going to eat a bucket of ice cream next time you have a depressive episode, right? Or PMS or whatever, right? And then all of a sudden that time has come and you're in the heat of the moment. And the first thing you do is run to the grocery store to go get that bucket of ice cream, and it's like we're out of control. It's like we're out of control. And at some point when you're down to the bottom, even, you realize you did it again. And you may stop yourself at that point, but you're too far in it. The damage is already done. And this is how cords can work. This is how energy manipulation can work voluntarily and involuntarily with another person you have a contract with, especially a karmic contract. This ex of yours may be pulling and tugging at you voluntarily and involuntarily, mentally through telepathy, emotionally through clair empathy and energy, through your dream state, through astral travel, okay? And you may start to feel as though it's you that thought of him or misses him or is emotionally pulling him back in, and it may not be. All right. So before you decide that your cord cutting didn't work, or that it's you who's feeling still oddly connected to him and getting frustrated with the situation as a whole, you may want to redo the cord cutting, write down 10 things that you want to see happen in the future. Forget behind you, Sodom and Gomorrah. Don't look behind you. You want to look to the future, and you want to say, this is how I am going to be feeling. This is how I'm going to be thinking. This is what my life will look like going forward and detaching from all of this. And be very determined to not cave if you do find that this person is voluntarily pulling and tugging at you, manipulating. do not cave by texting back or, changing the boundaries of that no contact whatsoever. All right. Very normal to have happen. Cord cutting too, people. Okay. And this is for everybody. Cord cutting does not mean you do it once and it's done. 10 years down the road, this person could sort of be tugging and pulling at you again and manipulating, and you may have to do it again. It's not a big deal to have to do it multiple times, given that there is past life history for God knows how many hundreds of years, right? How many different situations were you in? Sometimes we have to do something like this more than once. All right. It's big energy. All right. Let's move on to another one coming in here. A $10 question from a Nicole, who is a Cancer. Will I have a serious relationship in 2023? Nicole, in 2023, what do we see for her? When I go over here with your relationship guide and your joy guide, who watches over your mental and emotional development as well as your spiritual well-being, there is talk around the 9th month going into the 10th month. So your 9th month will look very different than the 10th month. All right. And don't ask me what months those are. I don't know. October is 10. I know that. September. Okay. September, right, will look very different from October. And it's going to be because of some work and money stuff, because of some career stuff, but also because of your relationship dynamics in general, not just in love, but in general, changing due to some self-development, self-discovery, and growth. When you level up in a significant way, like you're going to be doing at the end of 2022, all the way into April of 2023, it could take a minute. It's almost like a little bit of a slowdown. It's like, okay, she's done. She's completed the work. Everything was on deadline. We have to wrap this up. She has no more time left to continue on with this self-development and work. Now let's see what her karmic payout is going to be. Let's see if it's going to be big. It's going to be small. Let's see what kind of people she's allowed to attract now. Let's see what she's earned. And that part of it, the love aspect, will be coming in between that 9th and 10th month. I do feel with this person, you have free will. Okay. So work on you right now. Shadow work, self-discovery, self-development, self-evaluation, seeing yourself as a resource, not looking to banks, institutions, lovers, family, like work, employers, whatever. See yourself as a resource, okay, in every way. Getting your own healing, making yourself happy, not looking to anyone else to supply you with any of that, okay? How can I get it for me? And I think that if you do this, what you could be, because you're going to attract somebody at that time, it's just a little debatable. I feel like I'm looking at 3 to 5 people. I think if you pull in the highest one of value, this could very well be something that you get invested in for approximately 2 years. And at the 2-year mark, you guys would be deciding, reaching a pivotal point, an opportunity to get closer together or to go farther apart. You would be deciding whether or not you want to turn this into something more committed and long-term, marriage, cohabitation, something like that. Pregnancy also comes up. So just keep that in mind. Lock it up. All right. So let's move on to another one. Let's see what we got going on here. JP, $10 question. What happened to Harry? He kind of just disappeared. I would like to know what is going on. Okay. So from a JP, what is going on with Harry? For those of you who want a love or relationship question of any kind answered, you could do the $5 donation for a short answer, the $10 donation for a longer answer. And you can do that at Venmo, Cash App, which is above or below in the description, or you could do it here on YouTube at Ask Ivy, where we have everything under one roof. Again, if you guys didn't already do so, please give this video a thumbs up. All right. So what happened to Harry? He disappeared. What I feel with Harry is a very childlike energy. I feel someone who may come in with a very high vibration, may have a lot to talk about, may be really invested in getting you to engage. I don't want to say breadcrumbing exactly, but I do get that feeling of almost like a narcissistic technique of breadcrumbing, where I throw a little bit out to get you to come back around. This is someone who would have been involved in the dialogue to get your attention to stroke his ego. He is fed off of that sort of cat and mouse type of energy. This lightheartedness, what seemed lighthearted, is actually fairly dark in the way that he uses it when he ghosts. And so there was some new research that came out recently, some psychological studies, and said that people who ghost show actually the majority of signs of narcissistic personality disorder or sociopathic behavior. So you may want to just keep it in mind. Okay. Could it be a blessing in disguise? I would say so, because this person, while they are very engaging and charming and can be consistent in some ways, when he feeds this darker energy, he's very much looking for an opportunity to, through, we could say, more neglect than abuse, to get you to come back around. And while he isn't necessarily a horribly vindictive, hurtful person, his egotism is definitely gross. And it does not involve your highest and best. He's not taking into consideration your well-being when he feels he deserves to get fed and have that ego stroked. So definitely problematic. It's unfortunate because this person has a lot of potential. This person is very psychic, very empathic. We also have to remember in cases like this that we could be talking, just because someone is empathic doesn't mean they aren't a dark empath. Okay. Some of the most manipulative, terrible people I've ever met were super empathic. I mean, like level 3, 4. Every animal under the sun gravitated toward this person, and everyone says, oh, animals always tell the truth. No, they don't. Animals go where healing is needed. Okay. Animals are attracted to other healers as well. And so, they can be really confusing situations when you see that much light and that much dark, can throw you through a spin for sure. All right, we have another one coming through here from an MS $10 question. My husband, Scorpio, and I, Aries, have been on different pages for a long time now. Where do you see us going from here now that we have started discussing separation? Okay, the first thing that I notice is that my ear is ringing a lot. So you may be having a ton of mediumistic ability, mediumistic increases. When you go through something like this, a major transition in life, a level up, because this is a level up for you, or something traumatic like a divorce or a separation, you increase with psychic, mediumistic, and empathic ability automatically. See the free mini class I have here on YouTube at Ask Ivy under mini class playlist called Trauma and Intuition. Now, what's happening here, though, is that your mediumship is increasing, so that every time you get the tinnitus in the left ear, the ringing in the left ear, the feeling of pressure in your left ear, you're receiving messages from your ancestors, your loved ones, even sometimes from his side of the family, and your guides, and they're trying to instruct you on how to stay stable, how to not be double-minded, how to not backtrack on the decisions that you've made, because you tend to be a little bit like a hamster on a wheel at this point. And going forward, my recommendation to you is to cut and kill off that part of yourself that's doing that. Do not torture yourself. It is for everyone's highest and best good here for you guys to go your separate ways, because you already have all the information about this relationship. You already have all the pieces of the puzzle. You already know. You know that there have been 7 different opportunities over the last, I don't know how many years, 10 years or whatever. There have been 7 different opportunities, which is interesting because that is also the number of truth being revealed. Okay. But where you communicated to him and said, I need you to make these changes, or I need you to level up, or we have to keep growing with this relationship, and this is what's required. And he failed. When somebody lets the ball drop that many times, you eventually have to say, it is not only good for my growth and stability and sanity to go, it's also good for you, because you clearly cannot grow here. Okay. So True love is sometimes letting them go instead of enabling. So try to hold on to that as well. I think just something else that would be good for you, and this is for everybody tuning in. If you have someone you're having trouble letting go of, you should make a list of some of the ways that you have been stagnant, you have been hurt, they have betrayed you. Okay. Make a list of stuff that you can look at. Usually you open that list, you look at one or two things, you're like, I'm done. I don't even know how I ended up feeling that way. You're a human being, you have emotions, learn how to control them. Okay. This is a tool that will help quickly and efficiently. All right, let's move on to another one from a Jane and Kate. $10 question. My wife and I are same-sex couple trying to have a baby through IVF. However, it has been unsuccessful. The multiple miscarriages has taken its toll physically and mentally. Should we keep trying? This is a great relationship question because it isn't just about the connection between you guys. It is you girls. It is also about the connection between you and any unborn children that may or may not have contracts to you. And that's what's really important here, is to always look at the contracts that the child has, or children in this case. I feel that you could, oh boy. So you do have a set of twins over here with a potential set of triplets. Is that a set? I don't know, a package, a gaggle of triplets here. Okay, so you have several babies that could very well come through. Now, the thing is this, they can make a liar out of me at any time. Okay, they could decide, okay, we're not going to come through as triplets. We're only going to come through as twins. We're not going to do twins. We're going to come through as two individuals. Or you may decide, I'm only going to do one pregnancy. We're not doing this again, and end up with an individual or just the set of twins. It just depends. Now, the thing is, everybody here is free will. Okay. Everybody signs this contract before they come to Earth. You picked your parents, I picked mine, and we choose when. Okay. And in this case, I think that if you were to go forward with this for another year, approximately 9 months out from now, you could very well find that you are getting, I heard surprise package, but it's IVF. So how could it be a surprise package? Maybe you're just surprised by the outcome. Okay. It just sort of comes out of nowhere. I am wondering if you have a different doctor. This person does not look like the same person I saw before. Somebody else may be coming in, whether you decide to talk to a different specialist or that one leaves, like not retirement per se, but like I may have to be on vacation or I'm going to go away for a while, whatever. Something happens here. I would get another opinion. And I think that you also need to give your body a bit of a rest. So let's say you were going to rest for the next 3 or 4 months. Just take it easy. Let it go. Clear that energy out. Whichever one of you was planning on carrying the baby, or I don't know if it's both, you're switching back and forth. Like, okay, let her try and let me try. You know, it's like we need to change up the energy to make this thing happen. Sometimes if you could put yourself in the environment of the energy that you want, okay, that can work. If you could be around a bunch of pregnant people, if you watch a bunch of videos of pregnant people, whatever on YouTube, or even like giving birth, or, other same-sex couples who did this, watch those videos, keep your mind set and stay in the energy. But the thing is, the energy significantly needs to change. And so whichever one of you was trying, if you've been feeling like I need to take a break for 3 or 4 months, get my energy in a different place, or we need to switch over to her and have her try, I think that would be the wisest thing. If you can manage that, this could be happening as soon as 2 months. All right, let's move on to, all right, very good. So we are at time. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Another wonderful get a grip on your relationships and love life. I'll be announcing when we're going to be back here doing this again. I know that we do have one scheduled for, I believe it is January 8th. At 8 p.m. Eastern, back here on all of these outlets with Christina Del Rey, our astrologer. So we'll be going back to that method for a while. I will also see you guys next for my Ask Ivy show, where I take your personal questions and I deliver out messages from Spirit on all different topics. If you need to book a reading with me, go to Ivy Rivera, psychicmedium.com. And remember, as of tomorrow, I will now have relationship, love, couple questions, as well as past life questions available for readings up on my website. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Spirit. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. See you next time.